Now, I was in a hotel breakfast room. Raise my hand, waiter. I am having a perfect day, but I don't have a knife. And I hear this giggling sound coming from somewhere behind me. So I turn and there's this 12-year-old girl. Thought that was funny, you know. And so I waved to her on the way out that day. And the next morning, coming into the breakfast room, and she's just leaving as I'm walking in, and I say, stop and chat with her. And I say, well, how is your day today? And she says, absolutely perfect. And with that, she straightened her shoulders and sailed out of the room into the world of possibility. So what is a perfect day? Can you measure perfect? I have a quote for you from Emmanuel. He's a teacher. He was asked a question. Is perfect anything possible in this world? Yes, 1,000 times yes. But your vocabulary of perfect will not be satisfied. You have images of perfection predicated upon what fear thinks it ought to be. Are you willing to release them? Stand without fear, and you are perfect. Will you still be imperfect in your human personality? Oh, perhaps others would say so, but it won't bother you a bit. There seems to be two kinds of perfect that we're talking about. One that's measured and one that is not. It's just an attitude. The psychiatrists tell us, or neurologists, whoever studies the brain nowadays, that we are not actually seeing the world as it is. Everything is filtered through our brain many times before we actually get a vision of it. And so we're actually only seeing a map of this world, not the real thing. And so this map, that's the world of measurement, things that we measure. Perfect, on the other hand, is found outside the box that we call measurement, achievement, and judgment. I like the hike. Where's Diana Pace? She's not here today.
Camping.
Oh, good for her. It's raining on her wherever she is. But
It's okay.
I like to hike, and there's this particular hike that we go on every once in a while. And it's got this hill, and it's not just steep. Steep hills are okay, but steep hills that go on and on and on and on and don't stop, those are the tough ones. And this particular hill gives me horrible amounts of problems because, well, last week, 2 weeks ago, I took the same hike, the same hill, and I got to the top and I go, something's different. The hill wasn't at all difficult. It didn't bother me. I don't feel winded. Started thinking back. So in the past, when I get to this hill, I get all puffed up, male pride and all that stuff. It's the same part of us as we don't ask for directions, So I says, this hill isn't gonna get to me. I'm gonna hike up the thing. In fact, I won't even slow down. Why should I slow down? It's not even bothersome to me to hike this thing up. In fact, I'm not even gonna rest. I'm just gonna plow right up this thing. So by the time I'm to the top of the hill, I'm absolutely wasted and maybe a little grouchy and defeated. The hill had gotten me. Well, that 2 weeks ago, I didn't think about it being a hill. I just walked up and I got to the top and go, I don't remember walking up. I don't remember it being difficult. I don't know how long it took me. I might have rested part way up, but I don't recall whether I did or not. What was the change? One was the world of measurement. The other was the world of possibility. Is true success measurable? Can we experience fulfillment in our life without measuring the container that we call success? I have a story about Anna and Hilda. They were unfortunate to be guests at a concentration camp during World War II in Germany. And it wasn't very pleasant. They were 6 years old. So you're 6 years old and the best of friends in this situation. Anna was walking around and she saw the most beautiful thing sitting on the ground, a single raspberry. You imagine they don't see raspberries in concentration camps often. And she picked it up and she put it in her pocket in a protected place, and she carried it around with her all day long, waiting for that moment when she can get back to where she stays and meet with Hilda. And she walks up to Hilda and says, "Look what I found." It was a raspberry. She had it on a leaf in her hand. She goes, "Here, it's a gift for you, a raspberry." What did they create here? Imagine a world in which your entire possessions is one raspberry, and you give it to a friend. How do we enter this other world? Okay, I've heard it said, there's a couple of quotes. True scarcity and scarcity thinking are different phenomena. This is a unity teaching, by the way. Let me repeat it. True scarcity and scarcity thinking are different phenomena. Here's a quote from Joseph Pierce. Sorry, Zan. She doesn't like him, but anyways. He has some good quotes. Anything capable of being imagined is an image of truth. Is that putting a limitation on the things we can achieve? This kind of attitude, this kind of thinking exists in the world of possibility. Next time you make a mistake, this is something that will take you to the world of possibility. Next time you make a mistake, raise your hands in the air and smile and say, "How fascinating." Next time the neighbor's dog gets out and finds your trash and tears it to ribbons and scatters it all over your front yard, say, "How fascinating." It's a good thing to remember to do. I used it a lot when I was raising my kids. And now they're all grown up and doing good, as far as I can tell. I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks. That's why next week I'm not going to be here. I'm going to spend 2 weeks in Utah with my grandkids and my son's family. And proudest can be of my kids. So life is a story. We are telling a story. As soon as we realize that life is a story, we also realize that we can change the story. It's as simple as that. If you're not satisfied with your life, tell a new story. Next time you're in an argument with a friend, stop, take a deep breath, and ask, "Is this what I want?" This simple act of asking will allow you to distinguish the true nature of your friend from the diagnosis you have given him. So I have a friend. No one knows him. He's the same person that recommended me to my dentist, the Howards. Anyways, I've known him for 20 years now, ever since I moved here. He was one of the first people I met. here in this area. And I see him as a beast of burden that is refusing to carry a burden. Well, maybe my diagnosis of him is off. Maybe he's an eagle who hasn't yet learned how to fly. I have a declaration for you. And I'm going to read it because I took some time thinking of all the best words to use. And you can look at this as a unity prayer, by the way. I declare this to be simply the most memorable, uplifting, joyful church service you have ever attended. And it will have nothing to do with the speaker or the songs or the comments. It will have to do in total with you, how you are feeling, what your expectations are. Happiness is an inside job. The quality of your life, like your perception of this church service, is determined by your attitude towards it. Face life as an adventure, beaming with love and enthusiasm. And it will be that, just the way you ordered it. Unity has a catchphrase, which will help us enter the world of possibility. It is, I see the Christ in you. I have a story. This is actually a true story. It was told as a true story. They gave dates and names of places and stuff, but I don't remember them anymore. And I remember my wife's middle name. But it was in Europe, and it was in this, they had many, many monasteries, and they all whittled down and died off to just one. Do I even need this?
Yeah, it's working.
And there was only 5 monks left, the abbot and 4 others. And they were all over 70. So what can you do about it? They're dying off. They're going to disappear. Well, this is what you can do about it. And this is how the story goes. The abbot, not knowing what else to do. Oh, let me back up. He's going somewhere, you don't know why, where, how. There was a rabbi, a synagogue in the area, in a neighboring town, and the rabbi there used to come up and visit a cottage that was on the monastery's grounds in order to be by himself and to meditate. And he was there this occasion, and the abbot decided to go have a chat with him. And the abbot comes up to the rabbi and says, Rabbi, it is discouraging. I'm discouraged. My order is dying out. There's only 5 of us left. And the rabbi says, I know. It's the way it goes with me too. No one goes to synagogue anymore. People have lost the spirit. And they're both sat together and they read bits from the Torah and talk of deep things quietly. And then the abbot gets up and he says, time for me to go. It has been wonderful visiting with you. And he gives him a hug and he goes, oh, I forgot. I came here. I had a purpose for coming here and I almost forgot. I was wondering if you could give me any bit of advice for my monastery to keep it from collapsing and disappearing. And the rabbi shakes his head. I'm so sorry. I don't really have anything for you. I don't have any ideas or any solutions. The only thing I can say for sure is, though, one of you is the Messiah. And the abbot says, what? He goes back and he talks to the other members of his order, and they're all astounded and not knowing what to think. And he goes, thinking to themselves, it must be the Messiah, must be the abbot. After all, he's been our leader all these long years. But then Peter, he's so kind, and he's always there when you need him. Oh, it couldn't be James. He's crotchety. And yet he's always willing to work. But it can't be John. He's too passive. Well, they didn't know who it could be. Maybe it's me, one of them said. Oh Lord, it can't be me. You don't think that much of me, do you? And so they were going around and around and around and thinking this way in this monastery to themselves. And they started treating each other with extraordinary respect, not knowing for sure if the person they were talking to might indeed be the Messiah. And then they started treating themselves with extraordinary respect because maybe they were the Messiah and didn't know it. And the monastery was in this beautiful valley, and it had beautiful grounds, and people would come there to picnic sometimes, and they would follow the trails, most of which led to the dilapidated old chapel that they had there in need of repair. And they could sense something special. In the attitude of the monks towards themselves. And there was a spirit of there that they thought was wonderful. They didn't know why it was there, but they go, wow, this is great. And they started coming back, and they started more often, and they bring friends, and their friends brought friends. And then one young man says, how do I join this order? And so little by little, the order was built back up till they had a thriving community there, which then provided enlightenment and encouragement for those in the whole region. How do we enter this world of possibility? Unity suggests using affirmative prayer. I am love. I am listening to you. You are a friend. I am filled with wisdom, and so forth. Or, you are the Messiah. I see the Christ in you. Where is this? This is a wonderful source of examples of what unity considers to be affirmative prayer. And so unity says the first step is to change your prayers so they're affirmative, using the 12 powers, the divine ideas. I am love. I am light. I am grateful for all of you who are here. These are divine ideas. This is affirmative prayer. The second thing you need to do is change not just your prayers to affirmative, but change every word in your everything you say, not just your prayers. Make them affirmative. Don't say, dear Lord, I love the whole world, and turn around and say to your neighbor, you idiot. That's not affirmative. And last, change even your thoughts so that every thought is affirmative. Now, of course, we're human. We're not going to be able to do this exactly, possibly, but trying can do an awful lot for our attitude. The last question, who are you? Really? Do you know? I know who I am. I can't explain it to you, but that's the way it goes. I would like you, just for a day, to declare this day perfect. Dare to stop measuring your success and allow your life to unfold without compulsory means.